The United Nations General Assembly is underway in New York. It is the 78th session, and by now we know what to expect. The US will talk about inspiring the world. Russia will say the US is lying. African nations will say everyone is lying. And Turkey's president will talk about Kashmir. It's a UNGA ritual by now. President Erdogan raises Kashmir, India rejects it, and life goes on. But this time, there is more context. Erdogan had just visited India for the G20 summit. He also held talks with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But weeks later, he does this. Listen in.
Another development that will pave the way for peace, prosperity, and development in South Asia. It will be the establishment of a just and lasting peace in Kashmir through dialogue between India and Pakistan. Turkey will support the steps to be taken in this direction.
How has India reacted this time? So far, there is no reaction. Maybe Erdogan has been won up by Justin Trudeau. But either way, it's not acceptable. Only two countries talk about Kashmir at the UNGA, Pakistan and Turkey. India usually focuses on constructive things like climate action or the global south. The issue of Kashmir is considered a bilateral one. There is no place for a third country, certainly not a Pakistani ally like Turkey. Yet, Erdogan keeps doing it. Each time, India has rejected his statements. But this time, there is a key difference. Like I said, Erdogan visited India earlier this month, and he had some positive things to say. For example, on the United Nations Security Council, Erdogan said he would love to see India as a permanent member. Listen to this.
A country like India, being there on the UN Security Council, we would be proud. But as you know, the world is bigger than, larger than five. And when we say the world is larger than five, what we mean is that it's not only about the US, the UK, France, China, and Russia.
Weeks later, we are back to square one. The question is, why does Erdogan keep doing this? In one word, politics. Turkey and Pakistan are old partners. Both countries were US allies during the Cold War, but under Erdogan, a new dimension has emerged, that of religion. Erdogan flaunts his Islamist credentials. For a while, he wanted to lead the Islamic world, and for that, he needed Pakistan. It is, after all, the only Muslim country with a nuclear bomb. Plus, Pakistan is the ideal defense market. Recession, inflation, hunger, poverty, none of that will affect Pakistan's defense market. Their people can go without food, but their army will keep buying weapons. That's what happened earlier this year. Turkey delivered around 6 or 7 Bayraktar drones to Pakistan. Total cost, around $7 billion. Fun fact, at the same time, Pakistan was asking the IMF for a $7 billion bailout. Like I said, it's the ideal market. So don't mistake Erdogan's statements for activism. He doesn't care about Muslims in Kashmir. He's only playing politics. Having said that, there is a small difference in Erdogan's position. It hasn't changed, but he seems to have diluted it. Look at his language on Kashmir. In 2019, he said Kashmiris are under blockade. In 2020, he called it a burning issue, but since then, he has dialed it down a notch. In 2021, he called for a dialogue, and last year, he called for permanent peace. So what do you think is happening here? With Erdogan, you can never know. He is one of the most unpredictable leaders around. In July this year, he agreed to back Sweden's entry into the NATO. We are now in the month of September, still no progress. Erdogan is holding this issue up. Same with India this month. First, he supported India's UNSC membership, but weeks later, he meddles in Kashmir. And before that, he also opposed the new economic corridor, the one between Europe, West Asia, and India, the one they announced recently. Erdogan says there is no corridor without Turkey. So he is supporting an alternative, another corridor which runs through Iran and Turkey. And honestly, such decisions have defined Erdogan's politics. It's a nightmare for policymakers around the world. You can never be sure about his next move. All you can do is expect a betrayal.